to distract yourself, you will easily be manipulated. Hey, YouTube guys. Question today we're asking is, how do you use social media? I'm doing some yoga here, so this is how it goes. Doing my night yoga, do my hour and a half every night, guys. Yin, deep. I say deep yin, but yin yoga. So if you use it to distract yourself, guys, then you will inevitably feed the billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, and you will not give social media owners, the powers that be, any motivation to actually change the algorithms that are raking in billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars through you, the product, by manipulating you for advertisers. So the advertisers pay massive bucks to grow their businesses by accessing, now it's what, 3 billion people, roughly a little under 3 billion people, let's say, or maybe it's less than that. Let's say 2.5 billion. So advertisers pay untold, obscene, quote unquote, amounts of money to access 2.5 billion distracted people. And the social media bigwigs very much intentionally honor that policy of just setting up these algorithms that say, let's keep the people on our site for as long as possible to profit, to manipulate, to keep them on. And the more we keep them on the site, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the more we keep them on the site and manipulate them with their distractions, then advertisers will keep paying a lot of money to sell their business to these people. So the real clear in the social dilemma, the clear mechanism, the clear way to see it is that you are the product on social media. You, the user, your attention. So your attention is the product, and the customers are advertisers. That's the whole model. So if you use social media to distract yourself, if you use it to, check out to see what people are doing, what they're up to, if you're really using it with that lower energy intent of distraction, which most people, that's how they use it, then you will be easily manipulated and help feed the billion dollar machine that is social media. And they're not going to change the algorithms, guys. They're not going to change the model if they keep gaining more power. And the advertisers, because they're corrupt, it's just how it is. They're not going to change anything because they're making billions. It's just how the world is, guys. It's an impossible situation. But, and this is the big but, and you really have to be honest as you really get into the big but, guys. If you use social media to spread love, to connect us, and we're connected anyway, but to dissolve the illusion of separation, to genuinely help people from a loving, caring, compassionate energy, to be there, to be here at 10:36 on a Tuesday evening while you're doing your yoga, to use it to help people become aware, maybe if they're not aware, that social media can be used for good. And it is. It certainly is, guys. Let's not be silly here. There's a lot of goodness going on out there too. AMD, what's up, bro? Good morning. But you have to be straight with yourself. And I've predominantly, and I do a little bit of distracting, but I predominantly use social media for the course of my blogging career to help people with some inspiration. And I intend to get back into more of the inspirational videos a bit more from, Course in Miracles perspective, doing things from love and service. But if not, to help them blog. And I didn't do a lot of distracting over the years. But I really got clear on that intent. And it's the only reason why I have it on my phone. I don't use my phone. I use it a little bit more now, but I use it just to help people with blogging through social media. So when you think about that, sorry guys, change the yoga pose. When you think about that, using it for helping people, for serving people, for spreading love. This is a powerful medium. But you got to be straight with yourself, guys. You got to look at yourself and say, well, what am I doing now? Am I simply scrolling through updates? Am I checking my Messenger inbox on Facebook for the 30th time today? Am I checking my DMs for the 20th time? Am I checking my updates? Do I have notifications on? Guys, notifications, beware. Be careful, beware. This is that distraction mechanism. Distract, manipulate. You're afraid of missing out. And you got to be straight with yourselves. And let's face it, guys, they wouldn't be some of the most worldly now. We're saying the world, the illusion, but some of the most worldly, powerful people in the world and some of the richest people in the world, some of the biggest, most successful companies in human history. Google, Facebook, these are some of the most successful companies in the history of humanity forever. If most people weren't using social media as a distraction mechanism, which lends itself to them being easily manipulated, Mark Zuckerberg would either be in the poorhouse or he would not be worth whatever his net worth is. And he wouldn't have, over 2/7 of the world's population sign up for a site. He would have 50,000 users, 100,000 people would use Facebook. And that's another point too, guys, which they made in The Social Dilemma. Forget who penned this quote. It's very clever. Let me know, guys, if you know the name offhand. He said, 2 industries refer to people as users: drug dealing, social media. So think about that. And that's intentional. And that's another thing to really keep in mind, guys. How do you use social media? There's a really strong, hey, David, really strong intent there. Very, very clear intent. When intentionally, on purpose, deliberately, I'm not making them out to be the enemy. I'm just telling you what they're doing. There's 2 different things, and I think social media can be used for good, and it is. But when you intentionally say you're a user and not a customer, then you understand that you're a product. You say you're part of the product. You're the product. Your attention's the product. And that's why you have to use it. You want to use it with a really clear intent to help people, to have fun, to serve, to love, to connect. And if you don't want to use it for that, delete it. Take it off your phone. Most people aren't checking on their laptop like me, since I do it for blogging and business. So delete it off your phone. Delete it. If it's a distraction mechanism, delete it. It's an addiction. They call you a user for a good reason. Because most people who use social media use it as a drug, an addiction, a distraction device. Distract. What's going on here? What's going on there? And if you use it for that, you're screwed. You're done. You're toast. And the most important point that I'm going to make right now, guys, is that you have to own that you're choosing to do it. But you can't see yourself as a victim, guys. You can't. And I'm not saying that social doesn't have these intents to manipulate, to make billions, to control, to predict through their algorithms. They have that. But you, as an unlimited being, no limit to your powers, your spirit, you're this unlimited mind, your spirit, that's it. You have to look at yourself in the light of truth and check yourself up and say, I'm using this to distract myself. And the distraction isn't just some topical level. Consciously, it seems like a topical level. Oh, it's something to do, or let me check this. There's got to be guilt there. According to the Course in Miracles, this world was created guilt. But when there's the distraction, it's distracting yourself not only from being the light that you are, this just being of love and light, but it's a distraction advice to bury the guilt and the grief and ultimately the fear that you don't want to face. Because once you face the fear more routinely, just predominantly, and you express it, and you get rid of the fear, you don't want to distract yourself anymore. And you won't turn to social media to distract. If you do use it as a medium to, as a medium, I should say, use it to help, to empower, to inspire. And this is why I've always just integrated mindset, even before I knew what the frick I was really doing with blogging for Paradise. And I'm still figuring it out, but where I integrated the mindset aspect of blogging, intentionality, intent, it is everything. If you're putting in the work, it's the intent. If you're not putting in the work, it's the intent. If you're scared, it's the intent. If you're struggling, it's the intent. If you're succeeding, it's always your mind. That's where it starts, like everything. And with social, you have to look at your intent. What's my intent? Am I using it to really empower people, to help them with my business niche, to inspire, to uplift by posting positive images? Or am I using it to distract myself? Or there really could be that other hellish intent where social media becomes a hell realm of, hey, John, of using it to try to divide, to try to fight, to, judge, and to mock, and to spread hate, and to spread judgment, and to divide, and to break down. And you're only using social media for those purposes, guys, if you despise yourself, if you want to hang yourself, if you hate yourself. And I'm not using that term lightly, guys. I really mean that. Like, unconsciously, on a conscious level, we may say, okay, I don't love myself. Maybe I hate myself. But on a deeper unconscious level, the deeper and deeper and farther back you go into your mind, you will see that the ego is a death wish. It's a wish for death. And social media just gives you the platform to accelerate that process. Whether through just really horrific means, or just through the more, let's say, slower organic process of slow suicide, where you just begin cutting yourself off from the world. You begin isolating and only interacting with other people who hate themselves, who just judge and rage and fight and strain and strive. And it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. I mean, we're all just one mind. We're all just God as it is, but we're all just one with God, I should say. But when you're seeing social media clearly, and when you're seeing why you use it clearly, you check yourself up and say, I got to delete these freaking apps from my phone because I'm using it as a distraction device. I'm using it to fight. I'm using it to try to prove. I'm using it to try to prove myself, to to divide, to judge, to hate. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it, because it'll only make your life worse and worse. It's a projection device. And not only that, it will only embolden the people who run social media sites to make the algorithms, I mean, they're moving that direction anyway, to make them smarter, to become more manipulative, to make more money. If you're not using it for that, and you say, you know what, this could be an amazing way for me. Again, here I am 11:15 on a Tuesday night, and not finishing, but halfway through my yoga now. And we're coming up at halfway. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just pop up on YouTube, do a little video. Let me start a space on Twitter. I'm recording this for my podcast as well. Let me just devote a little bit of time to use it to help people, to serve people, to allow folks in their own time, through their own decision, to become, if they so choose, to become more aware of why they're actually using this medium. In truth, owner's pretty manipulative, and I get it. I get it. Hey, they have every right to do it. Free will. It's coming from a low energy, a lot of the ideals, but we're not victims of social media either. Ouch, right? There's no victims out there. We choose everything in most cases unconsciously, and then the world acts out our unconscious minds to us. Again, Course in Miracles. So social media, rather than being the enemy, is an amplifier of how you choose to see the world, of your mind. That's it. So you got to get really clear on how you're using it in order to not so much improve your life, but to allow it to evolve into a medium that really brings the world together. Because when you think about it, when you have 2 billion, alleged separate minds, well, let's say 2 billion plus minds that have all joined this one site that could meet here virtually. Think of the power the more we do our own mind training and we say to ourselves, hey, why am I using this? And of course, the number would go down because a lot of people would say, I'm not using it for high energy purpose, and I don't have an intent to use it for high energy purpose. I'd rather just meet people in person, which is good too. People still do that. Think of even if it was 1 billion people using it for good. Not for politics. That's an illusion, guys. Not for government. That's an illusion, guys. Not for pushing this law or that politician. All an illusion. Using it for love and uplifting people and support. Use it for that, and it's just an incredible accelerant for good and change and growth, but change from like pure empowerment for everybody. We could all get together and say, hey, we're training our minds here, and we're all infinite beings, and it could be such a beautiful, and it is trending in that direction in some ways, but you got to be straight. You got to be so honest with yourself, just clear, and say, I'm not using it for that. I'm using to see what my friends are up to, and scrolling through the feed for an hour, and then I clicked on this ad, and then there was this political, and then that guy, I hate this politician, and that one's a scumbag. And it's dramatic, guys. I know it's shocking when I say this, but most of us really don't love ourselves. We've buried a lot of stuff from past lifetimes and just our lifetime growing up. We're not raised by the Dalai Lama, unfortunately. And our parents do the best job that they can. They do a phenomenal job in their own way. And they show us a lot of love, but there's a lot of fear and guilt that's projected onto us. So social media, a lot of people are using it as an outlet to hate. The appearance is to hate on others or to hate others, but it's self-hate because we're all connected. So you see the world as you see yourself. You want people to die, just all this stuff that you hear on social and these allegedly crazy stories. It's just people, like I said, they want to, like, different, social justice warriors and people that really do in a way they mean well because they're fighting, crusading. But if you're not coming at the world from pure love, it's just, there's a lot of rage and hate and just desire to kill yourself. And I'm not saying that in a nasty way, but from a Course perspective, A Course in Miracles, just this ego death wish of like, you don't want to be around. And social media can become a super conducive outlet to this this self-hate and this guilt and this rage. So when you're really straight with yourself, guys, if you're looking at yourself very clearly in the light of truth, it's going to be really uncomfortable, but you could liberate yourself from using social for these really lower energy, just hateful purposes. And then again, you could ditch it, guys, and go enjoy life offline, or however, start a blog, and if you don't have one already. Or you could decide to use it and say, I'm going to use social media going forward, not to listlessly scroll through the mainstream and to be manipulated by the algorithms that are predicting everything, and the billions and billions and billions of dollars and billions of dollars and billions of dollars and advertisers and more algorithms. No, I'm going to use it to pick people up and to inspire people and to spread love and to forgive from the course's perspective. ACIM.org, guys. Forgive something that never happened in the first place. Not, oh, you were bad, I am good. No. It's an illusion. It gets deeper, guys. You gotta get into your mind training. If not, you'll be manipulated with your own fears, and unconsciously you'll choose it because you're not aware. So it's going to be a matter of intentionality. And, scroll back, look at how you use social media today. Scroll back through your stream. I mean, I share a lot of blogging tips content, but like I said, there was that stretch on and off, a few different stretches where I was keeping it more inspirational. And I intend, being guided by spirit, of course, where it guides me to do, to move in that direction of using it as a force for good. And in so doing, helping people, in their own time, they choose that way, take it or leave it, of course, but to wake up their mind from the slumber, from the sleep. And doing it is not comfortable. When we're honest with ourselves, it's not comfortable to the ego because it's going to say, no, I'm using social because I want to be connected with this person. And, I want to use it to force my will on people. You gotta be straight. If you're not straight, forget about it. In life in general. Because if you're not, you lie to yourself. You're deluded. When you're deluded, you're manipulated. And feel free to tweet that out, Brian Bidoff. Nah, whatever. But that's what happens on social. I mean, look at Twitter. Love you, Twitter. Thank you for the space. But when you look at the sidebar, why in God's name, when you see the fear and the hate and the rage and all those, every home page, those news items, people think that hell is something that happens, a realm after the body appears to die, when you put it to the side, like this body here, when I put it aside, like a shirt or a sweater or whatever, it's not, it's an illusion. It's a cover, appears to be. They think hell is something after for quote unquote bad people, the guilt, the ego. I mean, the ego is the devil. The devil's the ego. That's it. There's nothing. It's an illusion. Look at the sidebar on Twitter and you understand that when sites are intentionally publishing the news and the fear and the division and the rage and how you're going to die and how many people are dying and all these forms of absolute ego, guilt, and rage, you're looking at hell. And I've heard of planet Earth referred to as a hell realm. One of the only systems that they say and planets in our whole system that is controlled largely by religion and dogma. We need a lot of mind training. So when you're looking at Twitter and you're thinking, okay, what is their intent? If I'm the homepage, they're like, we want these 400 million users. Who knows? I'm a human. Let's say 400 million users. We want them to see this news. They have to see it. There's sickness there. There's the ego, but there's sickness. There's something off. It'd be like if we went to Blogging in Paradise and the sidebar was all this fear and hate and rage, and you'd be like, who's this asshole? But on Twitter, because there's so many minds that are asleep and people that don't realize they're using it to self-hate, to try to hate others, which is always self-hate, to self-medicate in a perverse way, distract, to rage, that's what feeds the machine to keep moving in that direction. So you have to get clear with yourself, guys, and say, and I myself too, when I see stuff on the sidebar and I'm like, oh, not going to click it, because even if I'm curious, and sometimes I do, and I admit that I do, but when I click it, I understand that I'm keeping the machine moving along. When I click a trending topic, that's not pure, and it's never really pure love, right? It's when it's hate or this or that. And yeah, I'll check some of my sports stuff, which not quite as divisive. It's part of the matrix. But I'm pretty good at catching myself. And there's been a lot of intentionality and a lot of training, and I haven't, followed the news or watched the news in over 20 years. I think it was 2002. So 20 years now, I haven't watched or followed. It's an illusion. Like everything in the world, it's an illusion. Fear, it's not really there. But you got to be intentional, and you got to be clear with yourself. And when you're willing to do that, lost you guys on YouTube. Willing to do that, the quality of your life will improve dramatically when you either delete social media and don't use it anymore because it was just distraction and you didn't care to help people or through that medium, or when you say, I'm going to use it to really spread love and to help and empower and inspire, because it is an amazing medium when you have a couple billion minds that and love we could see, and we're getting there, and there's so many people that are using it for that. There's a small percentage, but it's increasing that are using it to connect and to join. And I mean, we're all joined anyway, but to dissolve the illusion of separation. Think of that. All these people from all over the globe, we don't have to get on a plane. We can do it through prayer and intentionality, but I have this very practical symbolic medium of social media. Meet, talk, chat, pick each other up, help each other out. But it all starts with your intentionality, guys. Because the people that run these sites, the beings, I should say, that run these sites, the minds that run these sites, they're not going to change through the world, through the force. The world's an impossible situation. They're not. If people are going to, in their minds, not face their fear, not face their guilt, and use it to distract and to fight and to separate and divide, the people that run the minds that run these sites will say, oh, business as usual. Let's keep rolling with it. Give the people what they want, just how the news is. It's the same sick, demented, perverted, just sinister mentality. Give them what they want. But ultimately, what they're saying is, we're going to use your fears against you to manipulate you as the product in order to land just absurd, obscene, quote unquote, worldly level. Types of money from advertisers, and the advertisers cleverly mix they will get people to click and grow their purposes, their business, their corporations, politicians. You see how it works. So you gotta take control of your mind, guys. It's gotta be you. It has to be you making that intentional change of, I've used it to distract, I've used it from fear, I'm either deleting it, I'm going to use it to pick each other up and to love people and say, let's keep it positive, and to forgive and be compassionate, and to just keep bringing people together for good. And we're getting there. Guys, I'm going to roll later on YouTube. See you guys. We're ending the stream. I'm going to end my